So, Act 3 has finished, and I think this is a great time to talk about my thoughts regarding episode echoes in Destiny. But what's an episode? After playing through this release, to me, it seems like episodes were Bungie's idea on an improved seasonal model. This feels like the most complete season we got in the history of the game. Previously, we've had seasons such as Splicer, Plunder, or Witch, which all lacked an exotic mission, making it disappointing for me because those activities are the most memorable to me in every non-expansion release. The only thing that I would like is some sort of a version of an endless activity such as the coil in this episode, because as far as seasons go, this one checks all of the marks as well as extra ones. Personally, I think we had too many seasons each year, and I feel like this is Bungie's attempt of getting rid of that bad season of the year, such as Worthy, Hunt, or Deep. I feel like the idea here was to make each release longer with more content in it, so it wouldn't feel like you're only playing it because it was bundled in the DLC. Alright, but what about the story? Here's my spoiler warning for everyone that hasn't finished Echoes yet. Skip to the time on the screen if you don't want to hear about the story right now. Okay, so let's start with how the episodic model impacts the storytelling of Destiny. Echoes is split into 3 acts. Each act lasts 3 weeks, and after the story for the act is finished, we have a 3-week time gate until the next bit of story becomes available. Act 1 focuses on our discovery of the Echo after our battle with the Witness. After a clash between the Traveler and the Witness, an Echo landed on Nessus and it is our job to learn about it. We meet up with Failsafe again, which is awesome, and we continue our Battle Pass grind from there. In week 3, we discover that someone managed to convince Saint that they're not themselves and how they're just wrong. I think Act 1's story was alright, nothing too major, but if you skipped all the dialogue, minus the ending of it, I wouldn't blame you. Moving on to Act 2, and it's mainly about making Saint understand that he's fine with who he is. Then it's more of Osiris's and Saint's romance, as well as us trying to learn about the Conductor before they do something terrible with the Echo. Here's my first pain point of the story. At the end of Act 2, we manage to face the Conductor head on before we decide that 3 Vex Goblins is too much for us to handle and leave the area. As a title main myself, my first thought was to just grab my Apex Predator, fire 2 rockets, swap to Sunshot, kill all the goblins, and pop my hammers just to do even more damage to the Conductor. And after that, fire 2 more rockets, unless it was a dungeon boss, in which case I'm pretty sure Saint's Ball would have been enough of a damage buff for us to one phaser. Sure, Osiris was there, but why would we be so worried about him if Saint's literally there as a bubble main? Also, the last time Osiris has Strand, and the last time I remember Osiris doing anything was him recklessly trying to find the Veil on Neptune whilst being with us, Klaus Striders, and at the end with Kaido. I made a typo. I don't think us leaving only because there's a chance that he could die is enough for of a worry to leave. Don't get me started on how scared the goblins are. Anyway, it's time for Act 3 story. It mostly revolves around us going deep into Nessa's score in order to find and stop the Conductor. We learn about her attempt to revive her dead wife by making copies of her using the Echo, but each one is different, so she kills all of the copies of her wife that love her and continues her obsessed search for perfection. We even find out that she found her exact wife that's identical to the dead woman, but because the copy wasn't perfect in the Conductor's eyes, she had to be killed too. Now, before we get to the ending, the Conductor's also searching for this new golden age, which I never understood what she exactly meant. It is difficult for me to care about this villain, especially after we just beat the Witness. ending the Light and Darkness saga. This conductor is Maya Saunders from those weird Lightfall audio logs that I did not listen to. And she's also wearing Lakshmi's face because I guess they probably just want to reuse the voice actor, but I really don't know. Now, for the ending of Act 2, as well as episode Echoes, us, Ikora and Saint, managed to phase the conductor. We try to convince her to stop and surrender, but it doesn't work out. Wait. we The baddie somehow can take control of our bodies using the power of Echo and of Saint's mind, despite him not wearing a Vex collar. Saint resists, and the next events that take place are the most plot armor I've seen in a video game in a long while. Saint does a shield throw, hitting the conductor and Ikora then finishes her up with a Nova Bomb. Now, have you ever been Nova Bombed in solo Nova Bombed in the Crucible? Yeah, it sucks. Your body disappears and you are consumed by the devouring magic of the void. There's no trace of a body left. Now, think of what would happen to the conductor after such an attack. Would she A. Vanish, B. Respawn after 5 seconds, or C. Get consumed in the radial area, survive, escape, and keep the echo with her? Well, she survived, escaped, and continues to be a threat due to her possession of the Echo of Command. Like, what? How am I supposed to take this story seriously when these characters break the well-established rules of the game? Bungie did this many times with Aramis, Savathûn, and others. I hate this type of storytelling because it feels like it only exists so they can later sell another piece of content that revolves around the same character and their story. Or, when you buy the next DLC, you can have the, oh, I know that baddie. No way they're working with the other baddies in this DLC. Apart from Savathûn, none of these, oh yeah, they're dead, but not really, moments felt right. They usually feel like a middle finger or a, quote, go buy another season or episode, whatever you are doing next year, end quote, so you can see the character's full story arc. Big thumbs down from me. Moving on from the story, what about the gameplay portion of Echoes? Each act focuses on a specific set of activities. One major thing that I disliked about each act was the amount of busy work that he had to do in order to get to the story parts of the episode. The weekly quests would often start with some random objectives such as collect random plants, go scan these 5 things, or clean your vault. Okay, maybe not that last one, but you get the idea. This felt like padding in order to extend the weekly quests more so than anything. This annoyed me a lot. With Act 1, we are introduced to the new Nessus tile set, which is very pretty, but for some reason isn't present anywhere else in the game apart from Episode Echo's exclusive activities. As far as activities go, this act had Breach Executable, which was the most average seasonal activity. It's not bad or anything, just imagine last 2 years worth of these missions and this is what you get. We also had Enigma Protocol. This activity is interesting because it was this sorta secret mission that you found by exploring Nessus. If you remember the Expunge missions from Season of Splicer, this mission combines all 3 and you essentially go backwards in them with different objectives as well as a time limit. Now, I'm not a big fan of these time limits in missions in the game. It's quite easy if you know where all the time extensions are, but if you miss them, it can be annoying. It's a mission that you run 3 times max for all the triumphs and bonus objectives. After that, you don't need to do this mission ever again. Act 2 focused on battlegrounds. Yeah, they're quite fun actually. It's awesome to go deeper into the dances with each mission. Yeah, they're just really good battlegrounds, okay? I don't have much more to say other than I enjoyed playing through them. The third act focuses fully on the new exotic mission Encore. I had a great time doing it for the first time with Nexi. I love how large the mission is as far as you go deeper into the planet's core and discover Maya's lab at the end. The puzzles are quite simple and fun. You have 3 different key items to manage. There's one that creates platforms, another which removes walls, and the last one which opens up portals. As far as the first time playthrough, this mission blew me away. I only disliked the starting area because it was very confusing where to go. Aside from that, I didn't have any gripes with the mission. It's very beautiful and quite fun. Sadly, the positive feeling about this mission wouldn't last. It's probably one of the most reused missions in the game when playing through it during the season. Firstly, let's talk about how many times you would have to do this mission if you wanted to have everything each week. You have your week 1 first playthrough, and then a master run with an esoteric guide in the background on how to get all the upgrades for the exotic gun that week. Then you have your week 2, where you do it again for the seasonal story, whilst also having yet another guide on where all the secret chests are. Now, you have to do week 2 again because for some reason there are new collectibles that appear after you've already finished your week 2 story quest. Week 3 begins and you do your final run for the episode in order to finish the story. Right? No, because after you see the ending, the game gives you this epilogue quest. What's this epilogue? More story? Another cutscene? No, you have to find and collect 8 random purple orbs that are hidden throughout the mission for some extra dialogue and for an emblem. Not only that, but the last orb is hidden in a week 2 secret chest area, and I wouldn't even bother checking it, and it's super easy to miss. Because if you don't spawn the chest via a puzzle, you can't even enter the area where it is. Oh, yeah, also another guide for week 3 secret chests so you can fully customize the exotic gun in this mission. Would that be all? Nah? Hell no? You have a hidden whisper style timed mission that only exists on Master. It's a 35 version of the mission. For some reason, Bungie made it so if you don't go through a secret portal in order to activate the quote speedrun mode, end quote, which isn't different to the regular mission at all, you don't get a secret emblem. Even if your run was under 35 minutes. You might also need one more run for the second week's specimen quest if you haven't finished the objectives that you needed earlier. That's a lot of Encore. Way too much for a 3-week period, in my opinion. It isn't a bad mission, but in my opinion, Bungie's way of getting us to replay the mission by just having lots of secret chests that are mandatory if you want to use the exotic weapon just feels cheap. I disliked having to check on guides every week on where these chests are, because if I didn't, I wouldn't know where to look. What's confusing to me is how this mission, the chests are hidden by this first secret puzzle, where you have to do it every time. Without that short puzzle, the chests won't spawn. It feels like they're trying to make Encore the only focus of this act, and it made it feel very repetitive. I don't like the feeling that I should just wait until week 3 in order to be able to fully explore the mission and save my time. This is a fun mission, but don't make me play it what feels like 50 times in such a short time span. If week 2 maybe had a battleground or something else to mix things up, I want to be as burned out of it as I currently am. That's enough regarding each act's content. What about some other things, such as loot, battle pass, and time gates? I feel like the loot has been very disappointing to me in this release. Not because the weapons or the armor are bad or anything, but because most of it feels not worth chasing. The only weapons that I used from this season are Perfect Paradox and the Solar Rocket Sidearm. I feel like I don't care about the drops because I can craft all of these weapons, but also because I already have equal, if not better, weapons. I don't think Bungie should make episodic weapons not craftable because of the fact that they're probably like past season activities. Echo's activities will go away, leaving only the exotic mission as a loot source for these weapons. Not to mention there being like 6 exotic missions in the rotator currently, so good luck farming these weapons next year. Season of Dawn reprise weapons feel like minor upgrades to other guns. Marty's and Paradox are the only interesting ones due to incandescent on Marty's and because of how well the Origin trade works with the trench barrel on the shotgun. I have some major gripes with the Battle Pass changes that Bungie made with episodes. Firstly, the Battle Pass now goes up to rank 200, which is a lot of experience to get. Sure, we earn way more XP, but this isn't the experience grind that I'm pissed about. For me, it's the choice of capping out your maxed rank with each act. Act 1 goes up to rank 100, Act 2 goes up to 150, and Act 3 goes up to 200. When you are max rank during an act, you cannot level beyond that point. This makes bounties, seasonal challenges, and Pathfinder feel like they're not worth the time. Sure, you will get bright engrams, but it feels like all of that XP that you earn when you're at the cap just goes to waste. Not to mention how we went from basically bounty prep to a seasonal challenge prep. It's very easy to not pick up challenges and instantly unlock all 50 ranks when the next act drops. However, not all challenges just reward experience. Some give Bright Dust, Trials weapons, and even Nightfall weapons. When you pick these up for the loot when you're at the cap, it feels like you wasted a lot of experience. Not to mention how annoying it is that you have a notification every time because you have challenges that are ready to claim. I never really minded time gates in Destiny too much. I like having this down period where I can go play other games without having to worry about missing out on current week's content. Plus, I keep playing the game during these periods, and I focus on things that are more fun to me, like dungeons and nightfalls. I'll quickly finish up this section with the seasonal artifact changes. With each act, a new part of the artifact becomes available. Act 1 starts off with the 5x5 grid that we've had in the past, but now every other act introduces a new row of 5 mods. This hasn't really made the difference, other than instead of checking the artifact once every 3 months, now you'll do it once every 6 weeks. In conclusion, I think the episodic format is just a refined version of the seasonal delivery model. I like that there are 3 episodes instead of 4 seasons this year. In my eyes, players are bored of the seasons in this game, and aside from some quality of life, this release hasn't done much. If you didn't like Destiny's seasons in the past, I don't think that this will bring you back. Sure, it's nice having a larger story and the fact that you're not lacking any seasonal content that we would get in the past, such as an exotic mission, but this really didn't blow me away. We didn't have that awesome story from Splicer or the brand new activity type like the Coil. It's definitely the best of the launch of DLC piece of content that we got. But I think some of our previous seasons felt more interesting. Overall, I quite like the activities, but I wouldn't go crazy over them.